Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, today we're aiming to give you that shortcut. The one for solving the problem that honestly keeps showing up for CEOs, for founders. The sales growth puzzle.
Yeah, it's a perennial one, isn't it?
It really is.
Right.
We've spent time digging through, the latest research, case studies, internal notes, basically trying to figure out how you should structure or maybe outsource or even audit your sales engine, and it all hinges on one thing.
Your company's current stage. That's the key.
Exactly, your stage of growth.
And that alignment, well, that's the secret sauce. It gets missed so often. The sources we looked at, they clearly map out 3 stages. There's the startup hustle, right? Pure energy.
Right.
Then the scale-up phase, ambitious, often a bit messy, let's be honest.
Definitely can be.
And then you've got the mature SME. Established, maybe a little rigid sometimes, but resilient. And the thing is, what works brilliantly at stage 1, it often just grinds things to a halt later on.
Oh, absolutely. And the research, it shows the hurdles, things like team structure, clear processes, finding the right customer fit. They're kind of universal problems. But the type of pain, that changes a lot. We saw recent field research, pretty striking actually, 58% of the people responding, they linked their growth problems directly to internal stuff. Misaligned teams, broken processes.
So it's not about just hiring more salespeople.
No. It's not a talent problem, fundamentally. It's structural. It needs a diagnosis.
And, well, that diagnosis, that's really our mission today, isn't it?
Yeah.
We need to get past just trying harder. We need to figure out which lever to pull, specifically for your size, to unlock that sales velocity that's just, hiding.
Okay, let's do it. Let's unpack this. Starting where all businesses start, the startup phase. The big problem here, usually, is the founder becoming the bottleneck.
Yes, the founder bottleneck.
Everything runs on their energy, their adrenaline, their knowledge, just their sheer willpower.
Yeah.
They're the engine, absolutely, but they're also the speed limit, a very hard speed limit.
And that's exactly what the sources point to as that 100K, €1 glass ceiling. It's that revenue point where, almost like clockwork, the operational complexity just starts to eat up all the founder's time.
They're stuck doing lots of low-value stuff.
Exactly. Too much high-volume, low-value work.
Yeah.
Cold outreach, maybe drafting basic contracts, that first-level qualification. Stuff that needs doing, but not necessarily by them. Instead of the big picture things like strategic partnerships or shaping the product roadmap. High-value exponential tasks.
We saw this really compelling case study. A SaaS founder, technically brilliant, super smart guy, but he was just drowning in deal follow-up.
Right. And the sales audit they did, what does it uncover?
Well, it showed he was actually closing deals at a pretty great rate when he got to that stage. The problem was purely capacity. He just didn't have the time to consistently fill the top of the funnel.
Makes sense. So the solution wasn't, go hire 3 salespeople right now.
No, not immediately. It was much more targeted. Strategic outsourcing, but just for the top of funnel work.
Ah, okay. Like lead gen, qualification, maybe setting up those first meetings.
Precisely. They brought in an external partner who could just handle that high-volume outreach consistently, day in, day out, which let the founder focus purely on the high-leverage part, the actual closing meetings.
And the results?
Pretty dramatic acceleration, actually. Qualified demos doubled in just 6 weeks. It helped them break through that, that glass ceiling you mentioned.
That's impressive. But wait a minute. Outsourcing that first conversation, doesn't that feel risky for a young company? Potentially diluting the brand message. Their identity is so fragile at that stage.
That's a really fair question. Huge risk, potentially.
And the research does talk about that, the way you manage that risk through really tight scripts, but also a real commitment to sounding authentic, not robotic.
Okay.
And this actually leads straight into one of the most surprising tips we found. A high-impact conversion tactic, especially for this startup phase.
Oh, go on.
It's about the opening line. Instead of the usual, can I sell you something approach, just asking genuinely, how can I help you?
How can I help you? That sounds almost too simple. How does shifting from a passive or salesy question to just curiosity?
Yeah.
How does that boost conversions by, what was it, 30%?
Yeah, up to 30%.
Yeah.
Just cuts through the noise. Startups, let's face it, can sometimes sound a bit desperate or maybe just really generic in their outreach.
Yeah.
That specific phrase, how can I help you? It shifts the power dynamic right away.
Yeah.
It shows humility. It shows you're customer-centric, not just product-centric. And the market seems to really reward that.
Ah, okay.
So for the founder listening, the takeaway is crystal clear. You are the bottleneck, most likely.
Yeah.
And your highest value isn't in doing every single sales task. It's in solving the really complex customer problems, which means you have to protect your time. You need to bring in external structures or partners right from the get-go.
Protecting that time, that feels like the critical bridge, actually, which sets us up nicely for the next stage, the scale up. So let's say the startup nailed it. They broke the bottleneck. They have a sales engine that's, working, but suddenly, bam, different wall.
The plateau?
The dreaded pipeline versus conversion plateau,
Yeah.
The pipeline volume looks fantastic on paper, loads of leads coming in, but the actual conversion rates, flat, just stuck.
This is usually where companies have that aha moment, or maybe uh-oh moment. They realize the problem isn't just generating more leads anymore, it's stopping the existing ones from leaking out of the process.
Leaking out.
Yeah, the sources call it the leak. And almost every time, it's hiding in that gap between sales and marketing. It's structural misalignment. These teams are bigger now, right? They start working in their own silos, chasing different metrics, optimizing for different things.
Oh, I've seen this so many times. Marketing's celebrating hitting their MQL target.
Yep. High fives all around.
While sales is complaining that marketing is sending them junk leads.
These leads are terrible.
Yeah.
Classic.
And the customer experience, it gets totally fractured right in that handover. And there's hard data on the cost of this divorce, basically. B2B campaigns, they can deliver up to twice the conversion rates when sales and marketing actually sync up, properly sync their processes, and, this is crucial, their data.
Yeah, the data flow is key, but fixing it takes, let's call it political will, internally.
Definitely.
We looked at this client example. Their teams had totally separate goals, different budgets, even different dashboards they looked at every day.
Oh, wow. Okay, so how do you fix that?
The solution was what they called a transversal audit.
Transversal audit. Okay, that sounds a bit imposing. Can you break that down? Like, what does that actually mean in practice? Is it just bringing in IT to connect systems?
No, not primarily IT, though that can be part of it.
Yeah.
More about unifying the purpose across those departments. It means really examining the entire journey from the very first touch point all the way to closed won. And critically, it's often implemented or overseen by someone who isn't tied to either sales or marketing, an impartial view.
Okay, like a neutral party.
Exactly. So for that specific client, what it meant was, one, creating a single mandatory shared dashboard focused on revenue velocity, a metric both teams had to own.
Joint metric.
Got it. And two, combined workshops. Sounds simple, but this was powerful. Sales had to critique marketing's campaigns constructively, and marketing had to sit and listen to sales talk about the real objections they were hearing on calls.
Wow, okay. That sounds like potentially a tense meeting.
Could be. But the results, they really justified that bravery. Their conversion rate literally doubled within 1 quarter. Why? Because they finally fixed those handover leaks. They actually agreed on what a truly qualified lead looked like for them. It stopped being about sheer volume and started being about a unified definition and, well, velocity through the funnel.
So the scale-up problem isn't more leads, it's process friction.
Exactly. It's systemic. It's the friction that comes from siloed success, ironically.
Which naturally leads us to stage 3, the established, mature SME. These businesses, they often have stability, long-term customers. But that success can breed this dangerous complacency.
Yeah, the research definitely calls that out. Complacency, the assumption of, oh, we know our customers, we've always done things this way. And that creates probably the biggest blind spot of them all.
And that complacency, that we know best attitude, leads to some pretty staggering missed opportunities, doesn't it?
Oh, astounding. When you actually perform audits on SMEs, the findings can be real shockers. We often find things like 40% of the opportunities sitting in their CRM haven't been touched at all.
40%?
Yep. Leads that went cold maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, but were never properly followed up on, never nurtured, never even marked as lost properly.
Yeah.
Just sitting there. Or you see newsletters going out to completely the wrong audience segments. Or these workflows built years ago that are probably inefficient now, but nobody dares touch them.
Wow. Those untouched opportunities. That's like finding money down the back of the sofa, isn't it? Hidden dollar bills just waiting. The SME has the resources, they have the customer base, but maybe they lack that fresh pair of eyes, that challenge to the old ways.
Exactly. And the sources suggest you don't necessarily need this massive disruptive overhaul. Instead, they talk about something called the rapid review, or sometimes a 1-week lead sprint.
Okay, a rapid review, designed to break the routine quickly.
Precisely. Like a lead sprint, for example. That just means focusing all available sales and maybe marketing resources for, say, 5 business days on one specific neglected area.
Give me an example.
Okay, one successful one involved taking every contact marked as lost between 6 and 12 months prior and sending them a completely refreshed, highly personalized offer. Not about the original product they looked at, but maybe focused on solving a new, adjacent problem they might be facing now.
Ah, interesting. What other kinds of things can a rapid review focus on?
Another really popular one is targeted A/B testing, but specifically on core business assumptions. SMEs often get scared to change their main pricing page copy or the headline on their value proposition because, well, it works.
Right, if it ain't broke.
Exactly. But a rapid review might just test one key assumption. Maybe changing the headline wording from, say, "We're the leading solution provider," to something like, "We help you reduce risk," just to see if the market responds differently. It's about quick data checks and also, importantly, actively listening to the sales team on the ground. They usually know exactly where the system is clunky or inefficient.
That really reframes auditing, doesn't it? It's not about pointing fingers or finding fault. It's a mechanism for finding those overlooked wins, freeing up the sales velocity that's already there, just trapped.
Absolutely. It's about unlocking potential.
So if you're listening and you're running an SME, the question you have to ask yourself is, what's the most ignored part of your sales process right now? Because that neglected corner, that's probably where your biggest potential gain is hiding.
Very likely, yes.
Okay, let's pull back a bit. Let's try and identify the common threads here. The research seemed to point towards two universal levers, things that work regardless of company size, whether you're that scrappy startup or the mature SME. What were they?
Yeah, two things really stood out. First, getting the right people, talent, and second, having the humility, really, to audit your own processes, often with an outside perspective. Talent and audit.
Talent and audit. Okay, let's talk talent first. It's not just any talent, is it?
No, it's specific talent for today's world. Success now often depends on recruiting salespeople who are genuinely communicative, yes, but also understand modern approaches like social selling.
Ah, interesting. Using platforms like LinkedIn effectively.
Exactly. The analytics are pretty compelling. Something like 39% of LinkedIn's audience. They hold twice the buying power compared to audiences on other typical business platforms. So your sales talent needs to be comfortable and skilled at using these channels to engage prospects proactively, not just, waiting for the phone to ring.
Right, proactive engagement. And then connecting that talent piece to the second lever, the audit payoff. That seems to create some real sparks. We saw that anecdote about a mid-sized SaaS team, right? Their pipeline had just stalled completely.
Stalled.
And a quick flash audit resulted in an 18% spike in their pipeline in just one quarter. And it wasn't some complex new strategy they implemented.
No, not at all. He was basically implementing three very simple cross-team process tweaks that the audit uncovered.
Can you give us a flavor of those tweaks? Like, how basic are we talking?
Oh, really fundamental stuff, but things that had just fallen through the cracks. Like, one tweak was they jointly defined three absolutely specific mandatory criteria for what constitutes a qualified lead that sales would accept from marketing. No ambiguity.
Okay. Simple but clear.
2, they introduced mandatory follow-up timelines for any opportunity that went quiet or was abandoned. No more leads just sitting untouched for months.
Accountability.
And 3, they set up automated handover notifications between the sales team and the customer success team, just to make absolutely sure that high-value accounts weren't getting dropped or ignored right after the deal closed. Basic stuff, but it unified expectations.
It's amazing how often it's those basic behavioral gaps, right? And that outside-in perspective from an audit just shines a light on them. That seems to be the difference between just cruising along and actually achieving breakthrough performance.
It really does.
Okay, so to make sure everyone listening walks away from this deep dive with some real momentum, we've boiled down the research into the 3 most actionable, highest impact quick wins we could find. You're essential. Let's call them Monday moves, things you can start next week.
Yeah. These are designed to be low-barrier, high-impact actions. First one, choose to outsource just one specific task, something high-volume, repetitive. Maybe it's CRM data entry. Maybe it's scheduling initial calls. Just pick one thing to get off your plate or your team's plate.
Just one to start.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Number 2.
Second, run a focused CRM cleanup sprint. Dedicate exactly 1 week. Go find those potentially 40% of untouched opportunities we talked about earlier. Identify them, figure out a quick reactivation plan, and execute it, just for 1 week.
Clean up and reactivate. Got it. And the 3rd Monday move.
Third, schedule a mandatory, maybe just 1-hour pipeline alignment workshop. Get key people from sales and marketing in the same room. virtual or physical. Pick 5 recent examples of deals that fell apart during the handover. Just 5. And agree, right there in the room, how to fix those specific 5 failure points.
Focus on specific fixes, not just general complaints.
Exactly. That constructive conversation itself is the first step to plugging that leak between the teams.
Outsource one task, clean the CRM for a week, align on 5 specific handover points. Those 3 actions alone sound like they could really reactivate leads and force some process clarity almost immediately.
They absolutely will. They force focus and collaboration.
What a journey we've been on. We started by diagnosing that classic startup founder bottleneck. Then we navigated the alignment crisis that hits scale-ups. And finally, we uncovered those often overlooked wins hiding inside mature SMEs. It seems like the research is pretty clear. While sales growth is definitely never one-size-fits-all, the patterns for diagnosing the problems and accelerating that velocity, they're actually remarkably consistent across the stages.
They are. And that consistency, that pattern, it leads us right to our final thought for you today. We've seen again and again how outside-in thinking, bringing in external feedback, breaking old routines, how vital that was to every major success story we covered.
Great. The audit, the outsourcing, the transversal review.
Exactly. So it makes you think about the timing of that intervention. If getting that external feedback or doing that rigorous audit is genuinely the most decisive lever you can pull for sales, well, then the question you need to ask yourself is this. What routine, what process, what assumption are you currently most afraid to break? And what hidden value, what untapped potential might be locked away right behind that fear?
What routine are you most afraid to break? That's definitely something to mull over. Where should your next deep dive begin? Excellent thought to end on.